Hello, welcome to McBoss Capital channel. My name is Michael Chu. This is the first market recap video for 2025, ending January 3rd on the market trading day. And here we see Nasdaq. On the weekly chart, we went up pretty much from here to here 14 weeks in a row. And then we had this down week, came down to the red line, which is the 10-week moving average. Then we bounced back slightly. It didn't really move too much. And then this previous week we kind of hit the 50-day or 10-week moving average, the red line, but it did reverse from earlier in the week. So surprisingly, this week we saw more volume coming in. Unfortunately, all those high volume bars here, those are more negative for the index because they came in higher volume on those down days. However, Friday we have an update, but even though this update was pretty strong, you can see it came back and closed above the previous 3 days. So it's almost like a balanced type of move. Like at this moment, I can't tell still whether Nasdaq is, at least this is the downtrend line right here near the 10-day. If it breaks above that, probably is better sign. But again, just one day on Friday doesn't mean it's over. This is pullback. So on the negative, we see, like I said, lots of distribution days. But on the upside, the good side is the price actually came above the 3 days prior, but the volume is a lot weaker than the previous 3 days as well. So whether this is a one-day thing, no one really knows. So next week, I believe most institutions will be back to work, and the big investors will be definitely putting their money towards whichever they think is the right place. So S&P has been weaker than Nasdaq, but because it has like this two down here and they both undercut the 50-day moving average. So it has been tested twice now, at least the lows. However, we're still under this downtrend line. Again, very similar action Friday. This one looks slightly better because the Friday's volume was higher, right? And this is probably why IBD decided to bring the allocation back to 60 to 80% versus 40 to 60% allocation. But again, we're still under the downtrend line. So and this has tested the lows here twice now, and the red line is very important. So right now I would say we're neutral. It's not too negative, it's not too positive. We're just neutral. And the key is we have to break above this short-term moving average. Now last time it broke above it, but it didn't really go far. So that could happen again. So if we do have a Monday or Tuesday open that move above this line, make sure you close above that line as well, not just like come up above it and that's another problem. We see lots of intraday, like if we go to the 5-minute chart or 15-minute chart, let's see. So if we start 27, you see this bounce very weak, not even halfway point. Here we saw a gap down and then it came back up past the halfway point, but guess where it closed? It closed near the bottom again, right here. So again, lots of weakness in that sense. Here it just closed pretty much near the lows again. Here we went up, but then look at where it closed, right? Much lower. And then Friday, like I said, we have one good day where it still closed near the top. So one day doesn't mean everything, so we have to be cautious, especially in a downtrend market. Those one days could really punish you because you think that the market has changed tune, but really it's just a continuation of this downtrend and could go further right here. So we need to be cautious about this. Dow is probably one of the weakest index as well, and you can see it has been under the short-term moving average for the longest time. And again, we test the lows many times now. So that's the one good thing I would say, is because it has tested the lows so many times. And we're getting closer to this end of this pendant move. So it's either gonna go up or it's gonna break down. So which one will it be? I have no idea. Let's see how it goes. And Russell is probably the weakest one of all. Now we did have a slight improvement on Friday because it came slightly above the 10-day moving average. But with that being said, we're still under the 21-day right here. So it's really from a technical perspective, we're still really in a downtrend. And just one day is not a really good sign. And also we have a previous high right here. So until we go above this previous high recently, it really doesn't mean much. And that will cross back above both 10-21 day if it does go above that line. So that will be a better indicator. So looking at this, it's still in a downtrend. We have to be cautious. Again, this found support at 2200 level a couple of times now, so that's also a good thing. But we haven't crossed back above this high yet, so we need to see that, and then hopefully it'll cross back to 21 there as well. So QQEW is the equal weight Nasdaq 100. Very similar trend, still on a downtrend. It did close strong on Friday, and it's just sitting at the 10-day right now. We have a previous high here, so I think if we can go above that line is better than just not just the 10-day, because sometimes I say it can go up to above the 10-day, but it close much weaker. So we'll see how it goes. This one also found support here near the 200-day line. On the RSP equal with S&P 500, very similar chart. Downtrend happening right now still. 21-day, 10-day is like pretty close to each other. This one also have found support at this lows here. The problem is that, when you find support, the next thing you have to do is go back up. And so far, it hasn't gone back up. That's the problem. And even with 2 good days or 1 good day, we still haven't seen that. And if we break this support, and there's a lot of stops around this level, if we break that stop, everything will break loose after. So we're gonna be very cautious in this market. So since roughly the market has started to pull back roughly in the mid-December zone, some area earlier December, and the TNX 10-year yield here is really just the kryptonite for the market, and it has been look at it found support here this week as well. Now the market, like I said, still end up higher on Friday, but this is not a good thing because it's just sticking around the 4.59% right now, and it's not good news for the long term, right? And it could hurt the economy. This could also possibly so yeah, if this goes up higher, this could create problems for the market. This is the IBD 50 ETF here. It has a really nice bounce from Thursday low, and then it closed pretty much near the trend line, downtrend line here again. So again, nothing to be too excited yet until we pass this trend line and able to stay there. Let's look at the market breadth. We did see some small bounce here Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday on the S&P. New York Stock Exchange, the Wednesday decline line. So there's some bounces. So this is a good sign, but we're still below last week's the week before the high here. So even though we have some bounce, we're still below that. On the Nasdaq, very similar chart. The good news is we did have a higher low here, but we still haven't break through this. So we need to see that. We need to see breadth pick up. So Friday is a good start, but we need to continue on that. So news for next week, we have the CES Tech Trade Show in Vegas, and Jensen Huang from Nvidia will be speaking. It says here Monday evening, and we have earnings starting again. We have Jeffries, KB Homes on Thursday, and Delta Airlines and Simple. We also have the Federal Reserve releasing minutes on Wednesday from its prior meeting, and December payroll report on Friday. So that will be important. So this is based on the IBD signal here. So the week before we close out Friday with a distribution day, and that distribution continued this week. So December 30th, Monday, Tuesday 31st, and then we come back from New Year, we have another one, and the IBD did reduce their exposure to 40%, and then on Friday we had a good bounce. At least on the S&P we have volume, but not on the Nasdaq. So they did increase the allocation back to 60 to 80%. The biggest problem right now is because we have this cluster of distribution days, meaning there's lots of selling, most likely from institutions with higher volume, and we have 1 day of bounce. So really, even though this bounce in terms of price is very strong, but the volume is not there on Nasdaq. So that's something to be aware of. And having so many distribution days now at 7 on Nasdaq and 6 on S&P really, does make, again, as we saw on the chart, it doesn't take much to break this, especially those multiple support at the same level. If we break those, we could be in for a pretty rough ride. So we have to be cautious because volume is still pretty low in this first week. So we don't see too much accumulation. We did see some improvement in terms of accumulation in number of stocks here, versus distribution. And same thing on the industry group, slightly better than the ones that are distributed. On the sector side, in terms of the stocks, this is net accumulation minus distribution in each sector. We see some improvement on tech, retail, industrial hasn't really picked up much. Health also improved somewhat, and energy is the biggest did well this week, and financial also improved slightly. So we want to see this continue next week if possible. And again, surprisingly, energy is doing well, and with oil and gas price going up, that helps that the area. So we'll start looking at the SMH here, semiconductor group. We're still in this pendant mode here, and it just came back up to the top channel line here on Friday. Volume did pick up, but it's not above or average or above average. So again, can't really tell too much from this move so far. However, it did it did close above the previous right here from the week ago, so that's a good sign. So we'll see if we actually can break through this in coming week. That'll be very important. This is Nvidia chart. We had this base breaks out, but really didn't move much, and then it started to slide again. And this is the new trend line, downtrend line, and we did break above it on Friday. So I did take a position in it. The volume is higher and it's above average as well on Friday, so that's a good sign. But this correlate pretty close to the SMH, so we'll see if SMH continue to improve as a group. I think this stock will probably continue to move up higher. So we'll cover more chip stocks in my next video that on my growth stocks list. So please, follow that. Here we have IGV, the software group. As you can see, it went up really nice here, but we have started this downtrend for a few weeks now. And again, it has come back to the channel line here. This looks weaker than the semiconductor. As you see, Thursday, we're still going lower. And then on Friday, we bounced, but the volume is not there. Here we have Microsoft. This chart is starting to look a little bit not as good. We still have the bottom support level here, so hopefully you can hold that. But right now, you can see it has no power. It didn't even come back to the 10-day moving average yet, which is very negative. For Meta, we broke out, but again, we didn't make much move. We started this decline. So Thursday and Friday, you can see it tried to bounce. The volume is not too bad, near average, but it's still too early to tell whether this will work. But at least it looks a lot better now. Here we have Amazon breaks out, then pull back, and then we make this move right here. Not a not a big move, but at least it did go up more than the other ones we just saw. And it's been holding pretty much near this pink line, 21 day. So we see several support level there. And but right now we're still on this downtrend line. So we'll see how it reacts on this pendant here. Google has this nice cut with handle pattern. It moves for a few days here, then it kind of pull back, then it tries again and then it comes back again. So far we're finding support at this pink line here, and Thursday and Friday's bounce is weaker than I like to see. It hasn't recovered much, just sitting at a 10-day. So this is Apple. It broke out right here, really nice looking chart here, and then last Friday we saw this pullback, and then this week it continues. Has some bad news about, I think, the sales number, maybe in China or something. I can't remember. But yeah, so it took a big dive here on the after New Year Day, and higher volume came in on the sell side. So how like this chart is really amazing because we went from such a good looking chart to now like a such a sharp decline, and look at how fast it came near the 50-day now. Now I'm not sure if we'll come to the 50-day, but so far the bounce is quite like even on Friday, which is a really good day for the market, it couldn't like even go positive. So Tesla also very similar to Apple. It was doing really well on this breakout right here, going up really nice, and then it kind of accelerate right here. And then we see this sharp 3-day drop here, and then it bounced, a technical bounce, and then we resume the downtrend right here. So it has some bad news this week due to deliveries numbers lower, and that after New Year Day it dropped quite significantly. Friday we have again another strong technical bounce. Right now you can see the volume is weaker than the day before. Again we have this downtrend line right now. We'll see how it reacts near this level. You know, we did pass this trend line before, and look at how it reversed. So very important, when we pass the trend line, we should see it stay above, not coming back. Yeah, so we'll see how this play out. So we have Netflix here, really nice chart pattern. It took a little bit longer before it started to take the move. Keep building sideways basis here, and then finally it moved right here, pulls back to 10-day, goes out a little bit more, and then it finally starts to pull back. And here it tries to go again, but it just couldn't. And right now is this downtrend line is looking, not as good. Uh, Volume has subsided quite a bit, so that's the only good news so far. But it is making new lows, and on Friday it didn't bounce back when the market did well. That's always you can see that's when the relative strength start to dive right here on Friday. So not a good thing. So thank you for watching this video. Hope you guys have a really good trading year. Happy New Year 2025. Please like and subscribe and follow my next video where I'll talk about a lot of growth stocks that are showing some signs of improvement. Thank you.